Rashida.
Hi, good morning. My name is Rashida. I'm a senior at Bayview High School and a first year journalism student. I have questions regarding about SNAP benefit being lost last month, being delayed for last month. So I just have some questions. First question is, how is your administration work with food banks and nonprofit to support families when they lost their benefits?
Yeah, well, we were able to make sure those benefits didn't disappear. We worked hard. We actually took the Trump administration to court and we won court cases all the way up to the Supreme Court. And then at that time, we we not cut a deal. We won a case in the appellate court at the national level. And so we were able.
How is your administration work with food banks and nonprofit to support families when they lost their benefits?
Yeah, well, we were able to make sure those benefits didn't disappear. We worked hard. We actually took the Trump administration to court and we won court cases all the way up to the Supreme Court. And then at that time, we not cut a deal. We won a case in the appellate court at the national level. And so we were able to keep SNAP food money coming into Wisconsin without a delay. Now, there are still issues to work out, but we feel confident that we're in a good place today. And then, as you may know, when the Congress decided to come back to work, they agreed on keeping the SNAP money going for another 12 months. And so we're relatively confident that we're going to be able to keep that. But I have to tell you, Rashida, there is one other issue, and maybe somebody else is going to ask this question. Just recently, the Trump administration has demanded that all states send them information on SNAP recipients, their immigration status, and a lot of things that frankly are irrelevant to people eating and getting good food. And so that is concerned. So we're fighting around that issue right now. We're in court again. We're continue to win those cases in court. But at the end of the day, there seems to be now that they've kind of lost the idea that they've lost in the courts around SNAP itself. Now they're going after people that might be immigrants, people that who knows, and so we're working around that in court. And so I know your question is about food and nutrition and making sure people get the nutrition that they need to thrive. But at the end of the day, all these things that we're doing seemingly are about issues that are more.
Other questions that I know you have you have worked before governor. You work like as a superintendent in for MPS and as a teacher. So how do you think what immediate action has you taken to protect the Wisconsin resident? As you know that you have been working for students, so how has your government been working to keep all the students not going hungry?
Yeah, we work as state superintendent. We worked with school districts and with their food service departments to make sure that first of all that the food that they provide is nutritious, and that was the top priority. And I think we've pretty much feel confident that the food that comes through the food services of our schools is as high quality as possible. That said, we also, I'm kind of thinking back to those days, I'd be interested in your response.
Shida. I'm a senior at Bayview High School and a first year journalism student. I have questions regarding about SNAP benefit being lost last month, being delayed for last month. So I just have some questions. First question is, how is your administration work with food banks and nonprofit to support families when they lost their benefits?
Yeah, well, we were able to make sure those benefits didn't disappear. We worked hard. We actually took the Trump administration to court and we won court cases all the way up to the Supreme Court. And then at that time, we we cut a deal with, not cut a deal, we won a case in the appellate court at the national level. And so we were able to keep SNAP, SNAP food money coming into Wisconsin without a delay. Now, there are still issues to work out, but we feel confident that we're in a good place today. And then, as you may know this, when the Congress decided to come back to work, they agreed on keeping the SNAP money going for another 12 months. And so we're relatively confident that we're going to be able to keep that. But I have to tell you, Rashida, there is one other issue, and maybe somebody else is going to ask this question. Just recently, the Trump administration has demanded that all states send them information on SNAP recipients, their immigration status, and a lot of things that frankly are irrelevant to people eating and getting good food. And so that is concerned. So we're fighting around that issue right now. We're in court again. We're continued.
I have another two questions. What
Okay.
message would you like to convey directly to Wisconsin families who are worried about maintaining access to food during the disruption of benefits?
Yeah, great question. And my message is direct. We fought the Trump administration from the very first day they decided they were going to mess with SNAP. And we went to court. We won every single court case, and we will continue to fight. The money for SNAP comes from the federal government. It's a federal government program. It's a program that's important to the people of Wisconsin and to the United States. And if the Trump administration has an interest in doing the right thing, I'm all for it. If their interest is mainly to either get rid of SNAP or to give less money to SNAP or to ask for information about SNAP, people that get the food, that crosses the line. We'll meet them in court and we'll win in court just like we have every single time in the past.
My second question is, how does your administration plan to strengthen the resilience of Wisconsin food security system, ensure that they are not vulnerable to federal shutdown or refunding delayed?
Yeah, that's a great question because you never know. There could be a Donald Trump Jr. becoming president at some time. There seemed to be a problem with that. I think there's two things that have to happen. One is and you've had enough history in school. There's three branches of government: the administration, the judicial, and Congress. And Congress played no role in any of this. And so it is the lesson here is you have to get people that are going to stand up for these things in Congress. And you have Gwen Moore, who's a representative in your area. she's really strong on these issues. We need more Gwen Moores to make sure that the Congress is actually actively involved with making policy. It has because of Donald Trump that they have taken a second seat. They should be working just as hard as I do and anybody else is doing. And so that's frustrating. That's frustrating for you to see this happening, and you think about what I said before, how important it is for us to be immediately taking them to court to stop them from doing bad things in any area, but especially around food security. And we shouldn't have to go to court to stop it. Congress should be stopping them from doing it. Congress passed the laws that SNAP is part of. Any kind of law. I'm not sure which one, but it's part of a law that a budget that they passed, and the president is not abiding to that, and Congress just sort of sits back and says nothing. That is absolutely key. We have to get the right people in Congress, like people like Gwen Moore.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time once again. And I would like to hand it over to Shamirin. And one thing I would like to say, one of my teachers sent a message for you. He said hi. Thank you.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. I'm Mr. Schmeeding. I teach AP US History. So we got a couple students asking about their voices being heard and future of college, etc. This is Jaden Morris. Thank you.
Good.
Like you said, my name is Isa. This is my second year taking journalism, and I have just 2 questions for you.
Okay.
So the first question is, how does your job as governor affect our schools directly?
Great question, because before I was governor, I was state superintendent of public instruction, and before that, I was way back, I was a teacher, so I spent most of my time being involved with public education. And so I've done everything I can as governor to make sure that school districts have the resources they need in order to do the best job they can. Sometimes the legislature is in agreement with me on that, and sometimes they're not. It kind of depends on the time and the date and all things that aren't important. But we continue to support the public schools. This last budget, we increased spending by $1.4 billion. Now, that may seem like a lot of money, and it is, and that's just the increase. But that we're talking about all schools in the state of Wisconsin, and so we continue to do that. Sometimes it's a battle, it's a political battle, but I think we did quite well this last year. And over the years that I've been governor, one of the things that I've really focused on in our schools is mental health. And I think that is really important. We've been able to get more money to schools on that issue. And but I think we've got a long way to go because, you know this, I think, as well as I do. I think the stress and stressors on kids nowadays it's more significant by leaps and bounds than what it was like when I went to school. So we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for kids, and mental health is certainly one of them, and frankly, as well as nutrition.
Okay, thank you for that answer. The second question I would like to ask is, what's the most important thing you have control of, in your opinion, as your role as governor?
I think it's, because of anything with money attached to it, that's something I have to get the legislature to agree to. It has to be a law. That's how the three parts of government work. But I think it's important, and I do this. Oops, I just did something wrong here. Okay, now I'm good. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things I can do is, and I do it all the time, I spend very little of my time here at the Capitol. I visit school, this last week, I visited schools and I visited places where people can get food in a real reasonable way. And so just being out, talking to people in schools, talking to the local media around schools, I do believe, like this year is the year of the kid in Wisconsin in 2025. And just talking about that, if I go to Milwaukee, the media interview me and we talk about schools all the time. And so as far as being an important leader in the state, I think it's important that I spend a good share of my time, in fact, the vast majority of my time, going to food banks, going to schools, going to, making sure that we are heard. And I think that is critically important.
Okay. Thank you for your answers. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey, I only have one question really. The first question I have is, what is your plan to make Milwaukee schools safer and more secure, and that make sure everybody has access to mental health support?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I know your new superintendent, I know she's concerned about this also. She and I've known her for a long time, and things like that are really important. And so the best way that the governor and the state of Wisconsin can help Milwaukee Public Schools is to make sure that they're providing the resources they need. The good news is that we have had success with the legislature over the last years that I've been in governor, which is almost 7 years now. The legislature understands the importance of mental health, and getting money to the schools around mental health has been a top priority, and we'll continue to make that happen. But there's significantly more money available to public schools around mental health than ever before. I think some of the problems that we are facing, that local school districts are facing, is to use that money you want to use the money in a way that's most effective. And a lot of that involves having people on staff that are experts in mental health. And there's a shortage of those. So, I think the issue of money is getting better. The issue around who is providing those services is pretty stagnant. We haven't seen a lot of interest in people over time being interested in mental health, making sure that we're getting enough professionals working in the mental health field.
Okay, that's all I had to ask for you. Thank you.
Good. See ya.
So as governor, we have young people here in front of us, and obviously you have some experience in public schools. So what is some advice to our students who are looking at careers and being college and career ready in this current landscape that we're in, with jobs and job security, and going to college? What are your thoughts as the governor of the state of Wisconsin?
Well, I'm biased. I'll start with that. And I think there's no other job more important than working in our schools. Teacher, classroom teacher, counselor, you name it, mental health. It's important work, and we need good young people to, I know Milwaukee Public Schools and other public schools across the state have trouble finding enough teachers. And, but that, it goes to counselors, it goes to a myriad of other people that work in our schools. The work has not gotten easier. It is more difficult. And we have a shortage of people to help us turn things in the correct direction.
We really appreciate this. So in reflection, we know that you're finishing up your term as governor. And we kind of want to thank you, first of all, for everything that you've done for the state of Wisconsin and for public education. On reflecting on your time as governor, like what are some of your favorite things that you've done?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I have probably been to every school district at least once in my time as governor. And it's just, first of all, it's just a blast. It's a blast being with kids. It's fun. It's great to see the progress that is made. It hurts when we get criticized for reading or, but, we're making progress in that arena too. So I think it's, I'd love to say that the one school district that I went to was it was just great. For example, I got to ice skate in Phi Ed class in third graders in someplace in northern Wisconsin. I mean, you can't beat that. but I've been to so many schools, and you know what? One thing that I find interesting, and I hope you find it also, is that questions about mental health are really important, and in many schools, the students are taking a lead on that, and I think that bodes well for the future. I think the kids today, we get some flack for not being able to read at a certain level, and that's important. We know that, but there's also other things important, and I have seen some really great opportunities for kids to kind of raise above the negativity, and it's been especially in mental health issues. They're really doing a good job.
Well, thank you again. I know my principal, Jeff Gaddis, is here from our principals meeting. Mr. Gaddis, did you have any remarks or anything you'd like to say to our governor?
How you doing, Governor Eaters? Jeff Gaddis here at Bayview.
Yes, one of my favorite jobs was being principal at a high school.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love our kids. I love our staff. Anytime you're in Milwaukee area, you're always welcome to come visit us. We'd like to show you the great things that are going on.
Yeah.
And the great students and staff as well. And thank you for your time, because I know you're busy. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, we're all busy, but thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right.
Take care.
All right.
Well, thanks again. In closing, I'd just like to thank you for taking this time to answer questions for our journalism, our social studies, and our English students. It was invaluable, the things that you were able to offer to us. We wish you luck going forward and finishing out your term here. And thanks for all the work that you do for the students and for the people of Wisconsin.
Thanks so much. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Bye.